going on here? It's still going on.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, I think I fixed it now. What is going on?
You're going to blame me. It's all right. Blame me. I was
okay.
late.
I blame you then. But hello and welcome to this fun day. There's always fun everywhere. And we have got a big, massive GeForce Now update, which we are going to go through now. We did a video on this earlier, and because it was actually quite big news there. So we're just going to recap and hopefully hear some of your guys' opinion here as well. So let's just give a bit of a recap here. I will bring up the actual article here, and cha-ching. There we go. We have GeForce Now gets new priority memberships and more. So if you don't know the news, there's actually been quite a lot dropped today. We will go through it basically paragraph by paragraph here because there's actually quite a lot. So we'll get the headline over and done with here. Monthly memberships are going up to $9.99 a month, or $99, basically just say $100 for the year. Again, this was expected, but it is always bad news when prices increase, because I know that is going to put a lot of people off with the increase in price. What's your take on the price increasing here?
I mean, I think, as you said, it kind of not unexpected. And I think if you actually, as much as there may have been kind of some gripes or feedback to give with, GeForce Now as a service, I think what we're seeing now is, well, actually, we'll bring the cavalry, we'll bring the reinforcements to kind of address the things that we need to do. But in order to kind of be at that level, and for it to be sustainable, we need to bring the cost into line with other kind of cloud gaming prices, subscriptions, that sort of thing. So not unexpected. And if I'm honest, if they're going to bring a better quality to the service, no issue with it at all, because at the end of the day, that money then is obviously clearly being invested in ensuring that we all get a better service from it, in terms of a user base. I know you maybe could argue put the improvements in first, let people see them, and then tell them that the cost is going up. But in my opinion, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. The cost was going to go up either way, and it's got it's bringing service improvements, so it's a win-win all round, I'd say, especially for cloud gaming.
Absolutely. With this as well, I think there's a big thing. If you're already a GeForce Now subscriber and you're under the Founders label, your rate will not change as long as you've got an active subscription. Again, I've seen a lot of fallout in this on Twitter. So, surprise, surprise. And I can see that people are upset about this. If you leave or your Founders goes a bit, you miss a month, you'll lose it. That is commonplace with these sort of things. So I think it's good that they're doing it, but them saying if you leave, it goes at standard practice. So you can't, for me, you can't really do a lot of yapping about that.
No, I agree on that front. And it's a bit, at the end of the day, at half the cost, it's an incentive to stay engaged with it. And at the end of what I would say is, most people who are active subscribers of GeForce Now, generally speaking, have the Steam library, have the Epic Store library. They might have GOG content. So it gives you a cloud-based, way to access that content. So for me, you don't really lose out. The incentive there is you get it half price by being a founder and keeping it going. Nothing wrong at all with them saying, well, actually, do you know what? If you cancel, you lose your benefit, because it's about having a continuous subscription. And I think that's absolutely fair play, fair game. So good on them.
Yep, absolutely. Again, I think there's just a lot of things talked about that, but again, nothing really to worry about there. If or get a big controversy about it is as it is. I'm going to give an example which is happening to us over here. If you bought Disney Plus and paid for a year, or you paid your monthly thing, that is, sorry, if you paid for the year in advance, you are locked into that price for Disney Plus for this year as well. It is just standard sort of practice. I'm not too worried about that at all. The next we will go to is that was just given like a bit of an update. They are adding in as GeForce Now continues to grow, we're working to improve streaming quality and ease of use and to add more games. With the 2.0.28 update, which is actually out now, you can actually go out there and update your GeForce Now application, and you can start taking advantage of this. And the big one here is the VSync, and you can actually get that at 60 hertz or 59.94. And it does a couple of wee things to just make things play a lot better.
Yep. Again, it's it's an improvement, and I think as a player base, as a user base, those are the things that we could, they're all the things that we want. We want to see services improve. We want to see quality improve. And that is one step added in, of course, with that new adaptive de-jitter technology to ensure that the bit rates improve for people that are maybe on a bit of a dodgy connection. That to me makes it more accessible. If you do have a bit of a dodgy connection, it maybe becomes slightly less of an issue. And I know, for example, we've got Happy in Cloudy. He's obviously tried it very early on, and obviously with where he was located, he said it was a little bit kind of jittery and juddery and that sort of thing. That's the kind of thing that it could now make it a real option for Happy to be able to try out. And that's the aim of it, isn't it? It's to bringing it to more people, making it more accessible.
It is indeed. We will move on here. We also have this one's a big one for me, actually. It is making things easier to get into GeForce Now. My biggest bugbear of GeForce Now is the hoops you have to go through to actually get a game running. And this is looking at making things faster and less hoops to go through, which is an absolute win in my book. I want more of that. I just want to be able to just jump into a game and away I go and just play and not have to think about all that. So I think this is brilliant, and I know it should have probably been there from the get-go, but GeForce Now is completely different to other cloud services are. So again, I just like that they're bringing down the barriers here.
Yeah, I think as I said on our kind of our earlier show that went out just after lunch, the one that I'm really hoping that I read that, and the one that jumps out to me hopefully is Ubisoft. Because I mean, when you put your Epic details in, generally speaking, my experience has been I've put them in once, I've not then had to re-put them in. But Ubisoft, I'm having to log in every single time. Added on to the top that I've got two-factor authentication. It is a bit of a pain. It's a bit clunky, But hey, if they're making those improvements, and they're making it easier and quicker, for people to be able to get access to the content. And of course, as it said in the bottom of that paragraph, they're doing updates to game preloading to ensure that they cut load times by about half. Now, generally speaking, the load times are not astronomical on GeForce Now anyway. So to think about the fact that that's now going to be cut in half, that's gives you quick access exactly as you would in your mind you would have for that concept of cloud gaming. And we see it on other platforms, that ability to just click and bang, you're in the game. So if we are cutting load times by half, it can only be a positive thing.
Yeah, any way to get playing games quicker is always great, and especially if you're out on your mobile and you're jumping into GeForce Now, it's you just want as easy of a way to get into it as possible. So reduce the load times, absolutely brilliant, and that means get in quicker and more time gaming. So you cannot complain with that. This is the big one here we're coming up to, and it is. Additionally, we're adding capacity in our busiest data centers with our new server locations. Next up is Phoenix, then Arizona, and our first Canadian data center in Montreal. We expect both to be operational this year, helping to reduce wait times for priority and founders managers. I just found it's Phoenix, Arizona. It was a thing there. It's you know what I'm like. I haven't had enough coffee or too much coffee. It's one of the two.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you
yes,
you mentioned it.
Yes, I picked up on it. I'm Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, it's Phoenix. Yeah, just leave me alone. I'll just go into the corner here and just hang my head in shame. Getting these two data centers up is going to absolutely be massive. I think that the Canadian one up in Montreal is going to be a big one for them, because we do know there's a number of Canadians who are actually playing GeForce Now, and this should obviously help them.
Yeah, definitely. Again, it's about making it that more accessible, and I think particularly over the last few months, I think whilst people have explored other cloud platforms, the thing that we see regularly on social media is I get stuck in a queue. I'm stuck in a queue waiting for a rig. Now I think you and I have had a very similar experience in the sense that being a founder, I think I can recall like one occasion where maybe I've had to queue, but with exception of that, and I think you had some queuing time around Cyberpunk, if I'm not mistaken, Duncan. Other than that, as a founder, I've not really struggled with a waiting time for a rig. Obviously, the free account, I know there is a fairly lengthy wait in order to get to a rig, but the fact that this is now focusing on priority and founding members. And ensuring that they don't have to queue, it eradicates one of the kind of downsides or the negative aspects and the feedback that people have been putting out there. So again, there may well be people who have tried it, have gone away, or who have kept it and want to come back, and are now going to find that it's much easier for them to get access to those rigs and get into their games.
Yeah. Again, adding the capacity to the busiest ones. I have only really had any issues with queues on GeForce Now during the Cyberpunk situation, which I think everybody would realize is completely and utterly understandable at that time, because I think obviously demand completely outstripped supply there, and it is great to actually see that they're actually going to push that up, because I know there's a number of people in the community here who are wanting to give GeForce Now a bit of a go, but they're getting put off by the queues for the free tier. So with the increase in the capacity, you would think that the free tier should reduce as well. I think we forgot to mention at the top, but we'll come back to it at the very end. I've just remembered. What else is going on here is that they are expanding into new territories. They've just launched in Turkey, and Saudi Arabia and Australia are both on the horizon. So coming soon to Australia and Saudi Arabia. The Australia one is very, very interesting, because we do know that there's a lot of people out there in Australia who want to jump on board, because you can see that with all the cloud services that they have been there, and Saudi Arabia as well. I know what countries I would be pulling for next, and it's going to be India and Brazil, because we say they're coming to more countries as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously spreading it out to those regions, and those striking up those strategic partnerships in those, particularly Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. it can only be considered a strong point because they're bolstering their defense, they're making it more accessible. But I do agree. If you look at the en masse, there are areas within South America that people are kind of screaming from the rooftops to have access to kind of content like this. So I think that would be the big one for me. And certainly, if you look at that map, there's a very obvious trajectory there that you could easily kind of head into, because the south of America is looking pretty grey on that map. So it's an obvious tactical point to jump in.
Yeah, exactly. And just going back to the Australia, you can see that there's going to be 2 data centers there on the map. Also, there was a number of games which have been released, and I think there's a couple of standouts there. Sorry, I'm just not 100% here today. Do not feed the monkeys, Gunner, the Piro, Monopoly Plus, Nuclear 19, System Shock, Enhanced Editions, and one by Warriors. The two which are standing out to me is the Piro going onto the Epic Game Store, a massive game there, which definitely needs to keep an eye on. And the other one is System Shock. System Shock is an amazing game. So that is my choices there.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with those choices. I don't think there's anything else that really stands out in that list. And I think, as we've said before, I'm not really surprised that there's only a few games there. Because I think we mentioned earlier as well that some of those games are already available on GeForce Now. It's just kind of expanding the availability via, the extended storefronts. So it's no real surprise that they've opted to take a week like this, where there is such kind of big news, to kind of just maybe bolster those extensions, from storefronts, rather than kind of come in with any real big powerhouse games or kind of make a statement in a content front. This week's blog is not really about content. It's about the growth of the platform, the growth of cloud gaming, the improvements they're going to bring, and their commitment to that user base and wanting to keep everybody with them.
And that leads me into the thing we forgot to mention at the very top. GeForce Now is approaching 10 million members. So I think this is going to be lost on a lot of people, that it is approaching 10 million people. What that actually means is, surely something's a bit dark here. What this actually means is that when GeForce Now is trying to approach developers to bring games to the platform, that means look how many people we've got signed up here. We're pretty big now. I think you really should be bringing your game to the platform, because they've got the big user base now, or the 10 million members, or coming up to the 10 million members. This is going to help their negotiations on trying to get games onto the platform. And I think it's going to become an easier and easier sell to bring the games across. And I think we're going to see an increase in day and date games coming to GeForce Now, along with I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the older platforms or publishers who are no longer on GeForce Now maybe come back, because I think they're maybe realizing they're maybe losing some money because they aren't on the platform anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's a really valid shout, and a good point to be made. I think the things that I don't want to say that people forget. But from a gaming perspective, the PC gaming market, the PC builders out there, if you look at that kind of marketing in terms of components, everybody's striving, right now, everybody is clambering to get an RTX 3070, the 3080, 3090, whatever they can get their hands on, which are in really short supply. And this service is kind of, it's run on the back of those kind of merits. So being able to bring RTX, DLSS, to a cloud gaming platform that is associated with the people that strive to kind of put that sort of technology in people's, PCs, from a PC gaming perspective, they carry a tremendous amount of power. How many games out there, from publishers and and the rest of the landscape look to try and strive to make sure that their game has RTX. those kind of synergies, those partnerships. And that, for me, that this now becomes an easy, really, really easy extension, because people want that hardware in their, their hardware-based kit. And if you want the cloud gaming option, you can still have that option. You can still take advantage of, that quality, those features from the very people that kind of bring you that hardware and technology. And that is for me, that's a big, strong, a strong position to be in.
Yeah, I'm just going to come back to one wee point I forgot actually to make regarding the $9.99 a month from $99.99 for $100. Why did I not just say $100? The $100 for the 6 months, and why, for the annual pass, I'm just stuck on the other one, the founders. With GeForce Now, that will pay for itself over the whole year. Games are cheaper on PC. You have multiple storefronts to buy games. And I'm not even including the shady sort of key sites, which I do not support. We're talking Humble Bundle. We're talking Steam sales. We're talking Epic sales. How often do Epic give you like $10, £10 off to buy a game? And a lot of them games are on GeForce Now. You will be making your money back if you're going to be playing on GeForce Now extensively. Even if you do not want to buy any games on GeForce or don't want to buy any games, you can build up your library for free. You've got your Epic games for free. You have got over 80 free-to-play games on GeForce Now. I think this $9.99, it sounds like I'm trying to justify it. I know $9.99 is a lot of money for people if you're not going to use the service. If you are a gamer and you want to play PC games, you're not going to go really that far wrong with GeForce Now, with the monthly subscription here, because the PC market is just absolutely bananas. As we've discussed on the Square Enix show that we just did, you can pick up Lara Croft today for free on Steam, and that is playable through GeForce Now. You've got your Epic free games each week. Your library will just explode if you play on PC for very low cost. So again, you have to sometimes look at bigger pictures. If you want to just play GeForce Now and you don't want to pay for it, absolutely fair play to you, and that's your thing. But I don't think the $9.99 is actually too bad, and it was expected.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think particularly the point you make there. Obviously, they've got 80 plus free games on that platform. If you've got an Epic Store account, on average, in an average year, you get 62 games free with from Epic. If you kind of tot it up by the time you go through the year, the different kind of promotions and that sort of stuff. So straight away, by having an Epic account and by having access to free to play of some of the biggest titles, let's not forget that GeForce Now has got access to Fortnite with RTX on. You've got Destiny 2. There are some, you've got Apex Legends. There are titles out there that people absolutely are craving to play, especially in the cloud. And for that monthly price, you've got access to it. Plus, you'll have all of those games, as I say, that 60-ish games from Epic on an average year. The one thing I was going to touch on when we were talking about the monthly costs and obviously the Founders for Life benefit, one of the things I noticed for today, and it was kind of expected, but I don't think we were necessarily 100% sure. Obviously, they removed the monthly fee originally, and you had to pay $24.95 for 6 months worth of access. That obviously the monthly, the monthly rate is there, so you can have access to that. The 6 month rate is now gone. So if you're in the UK, it's $89.99 for 12 months worth of subscription to GeForce Now. So which is sub 100 quid, and well, sub 100 quid. That's that's easily a case of, sub to that for a year, get an Epic Store £10 voucher, put your £10, put your £10 in towards another title. Kind of, it's all about adding value here and there where you can. So, absolutely well worth it in my opinion. I've had some great experiences in the past, probably 6 months plus. One of my favorite experiences so far on GeForce Now has been playing Watch Dogs Legions. That game looks absolutely stunning, cranked up, and provided obviously at the time that you get the right rig, because we have spoken in the past about some of the inconsistencies in the rigs. Now, obviously, they're addressing that. They're upping the coverage in the data centers. So hopefully we should see an element of that diminish and performance improve. And that has been a big takeaway for me, to be able to run Watch Dogs Legions in that way, and it looks so good, has been a really big win.
Yep. Again, there is no perfect cloud gaming service. There is no perfect gaming platform anywhere. All of them have got their strengths and they have got their weaknesses. And I think that is just fair to put that out. Is the GeForce Now pricing fair? I think it is reasonably fair. And again, we have known this has been coming. So I don't think we'll have to really get ourselves in a twist about it. No, but it's just, I just love how every single week things are just changing and continuing to upgrade. And I think that is something which, again, there's just so much of this news that there is that big upgrade coming and it's available today. So if your connection has been a bit wobbly at times, you can actually go and try it out again, and it might actually be slightly better now because of this V-Sync stuff they're doing. So again, it's well worth checking this out.
Yeah, and I think the overriding thing from me, I've read this blog post. Obviously, I read it when we first got it, and obviously when we kind of recorded our first video that went out earlier on today. And then obviously kind of taken more time to digest it, think about it. And the thing that I keep coming back to is this news just illustrates to me that cloud gaming wins. We are seeing news. Obviously, I know we're here primarily to talk about GFN because it is GFN Thursday, but we are seeing moves within the market. There's been news this week that other people are investing money in cloud gaming in terms of the people that supported bringing titles to the Switch. What you are seeing now is a little bit of that cauldron is starting to bubble in certain areas, and it's getting a little bit spicy. And that you're going to see people coming out, with a bit of fight, and you're going to see people come out swinging because they can see the growth potential. I think one of the things that I think you mentioned in our earlier one actually was it was only a couple of months ago that they were at 6 million subscribers, and here we are, kind of a couple of months on. They're now on the horizon of 10 million. If you think about that, that's more than a 50% increase in a couple of months in their player base. And regardless of whether you are cloud, console, PC, storefront, who doesn't want that kind of growth? That trajectory is enormous, but they have to find a way to sustain it. But I think one of the other outriding facts that comes from this is they've said that this is them in year 2 just getting started, and that for me is a statement in itself. The fact that they are at the end of Q1 in 2021 they are coming out and saying, okay, this is all of what we're doing right now, we're bringing new games, improvements, this, that, the other, and we're only just starting year 2. You have to say that draws a line in the sand, and anybody else in the market space has got to be looking and thinking, we need to up our game, we need to come ready. And you'll also be thinking just exactly what have they got up their sleeve for the remaining 3 quarters of 2021.
Exactly. And I think 2 weeks ago, we got our monthly update for GeForce Now, and we were thinking it was a bit mediocre. It was Last week we thought it was this is not a bad one because last week the GOG stuff was added and Witcher 3 was brought back, and this week it's pushed it up even higher. Even with that, it is a negative. Prices going up is a negative, and I don't think you can justify it saying it's not. It is a negative, but you can see why the price is going up, which I think GeForce Now, from the start of this year, has been absolutely knocking it out from the park. Not the Microsoft levels, because that is just completely on a different sort of level. But if this was last year, they would have been number one by an absolute mile, just because of the quality of games they are bringing and the moves they are making. Again, it's GeForce Now is about here. Microsoft is up there, but it is absolutely amazing what they're doing. And I'm going to say this: GeForce Now have got games there which Microsoft don't have, and I don't see them going to Xbox for a while or xCloud. And two big games in Valheim and Dyson Sphere program, and there's that other game which is that is a game I days or this week as well. I don't think that's on Xbox either. In Loop Hero, which again this is another PC game. GeForce Now have been just smashing this up all year, and it is just really brilliant to see. They are not just staying there stagnating, as someone maybe said earlier in the week. They every single week nearly they are pushing something. They're dropping an average of 10 games a week onto the platform. Just think about that, 10 games a week, and it's just completely bananas. And if you want context, that works out at 520 games are possibly coming to GeForce Now this year. And I know that the big criticism of GeForce Now is that the games may be taken away. That sort of thing has definitely on the decline, and it's more games are getting a lot more games are getting added and taken away. I think the last time there was a couple of games were taken away was at the very beginning of the year, but now it is bang, bang, bang. It's just great to see.
Yeah, it is indeed, and of course, let's not forget they're one of the few games providers or kind of platform holders, if you like, who have actually been able to get away with increasing their price. You know, some other people have tried that this year and fell flat on their face and had to retract from it. Whereas you've got somebody who's come out and said, look, we're really sorry. Our price has been at this, X amount for 12 months more. We know that we need to make improvements. In order to do it, we need to bring it up. But if you've been loyal to us and you've stuck with us through those times, we'll reward you with that founder benefit that means that your price stays at what it is. To me, I think as Sammy said in the chat, you don't want to ever let that go. You're going to cling on to it because that price is going to be value right there. So it is a really positive start to the year, and I am excited to see what they are going to bring, for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I just want them to just continue to bring the games. What I would love them to do is to get the 2K games back. Obviously, everybody wants GTA. I think GTA is one of the elephants in the room, and I want them to get their sports games. And maybe let's just be greedy. Just everybody, just bring all the games, all the big companies, and because having all, I know for me, I want all the cloud services to be absolutely banging it out, because GeForce Now are banging it out, xCloud are banging it out, and because they're swinging at each other, they're improving all the time. And I just want to see more of that going forward, because when they're out there fighting and swinging away, it means we win, because everybody is fighting to get our pounds and dollars and euros and Canadian dollars and every single currency going. They're just after our money. And if people are out there swinging away, it just means they're trying to compete for it. And that, again, you can just see what has happened this week with PlayStation dropping 12 games for free on the PlayStation to compete against Microsoft. I'm just extremely excited.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think, you know, the easiest thing to say with that is obviously competition breeds success, and that's exactly, you know, what we're sitting on the sidelines, kind of, you know, trying to and wishing and hoping to witness, you know. And it comes back to, you know, a thing that we've now said many times is the fact that it's an option, it's an outlet for us to be able to play games, because we have got those libraries that exist elsewhere. You know, it's not necessarily the central focus of our, you know, of where we play our games. It kind of adds into that portfolio of being able to play games wherever we choose to play. And that means having kind of access to multiple subscriptions, and they each have their benefit. You know, and certainly GeForce Now well and truly has its place. You know, it brings that kind of back catalogue, that existing kind of ownership of titles that you've got that are supported on the platform. You know, as you said, gives, you know, pricing with PC games. It kind of makes it attractive in that sense, because of the promotions, the pricing that you get on them, and that's really, you know, that's what it's about for, you know, for people who are gamers, for people who are, you know, whether you are a cloud gamer, whether you play on multiple, you know, across between physical, you know, and cloud. It's about having the access to the content. And it's about playing wherever you decide and you elect to, you know, to play. And more often than not, that's more than one place in order to get the best value for your money. And there is nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly. It's just what I was mentioning earlier with Valheim and Dyson Spear Company. They are only available on the PC. Another one which is just available on the PC, you might have seen in my video earlier because I've been playing that, is Black Mesa. I always say it wrong. That is the Half-Life remake done up with super duper graphics. I think Charles brings up a good point in the chat with Blizzard. Whoever gets Activision Blizzard onto their cloud services are going to be elected. If GeForce Now get Call of Duty onto the platform, how many people are going to want to play that because of the hard drive space? Because I know people are going to be struggling to have Warzone plus whatever the Call of Duty is going to be. That, I think, that is the holy grail for all the cloud services going. And again, with GeForce Now having the 10 million figure, they can go to these platform holders and their hand is strengthened because of the user base, and they know that they're going to have the PC audience on them, which, again, it's just mind-blowing that I think we are going to see, or here comes with my bold predictions, I think we are going to see Activision Blizzard on a cloud service this year, and I couldn't tell you which one it's going to be.
I wouldn't want to put my hat on any, you know, on which one that lands on, if I'm honest, because there are undoubtedly multiple people, you know, vying for that deal to be signed, you know, to attract that big household name and all the content that it brings with it. And you are absolutely right. You know, there was that article, less than 2 weeks ago, where they kind of indicated that, you know, from a console perspective, for example, a 500 gig hard drive in a console may not be enough to hold, you know, Black Ops Cold War and Warzone together. You know, and if you can eliminate that by giving people the access to that content in the cloud, then it has to be something that you know, that somebody's vying to get secured. Obviously, you know, Activision were in the early days of kind of the beta, you know, of the service. They were available. They had some of their content available on the platform, and yeah, you have to hope that people are going out and knocking on that door and saying, come on, now's the time. You need to be coming back. You need to be bringing those titles, because we've got to a size now that we think we can, we can demand that. And that goes back to other conversations that we've had recently about sitting around that negotiation table and being the one that is not necessarily holding all the cards, but holding a very strong hand at a negotiation table to be in a position to actually get what you want for your platform. And I think that's something they are doing extremely well at the moment.
Yeah, again, it's just so exciting. I'm going to throw this out here since what we're trying to do with these GeForce Now Thursdays. Today was a bit special that we did the pre-record, but I think it seems people seem to have like that, so we may have a look at that in the future and then come back for the talk after. But what I would love to see on GeForce Now is some way to hold the captures that happen if you're playing on the Shield TV. Because some of them are just class, and I would love to get them on the social media and stuff. There, I know we've got Sammy in the chat here. He has been playing with the Tomb Raider, and if you're playing on Tomb Raider on GeForce Now, it does the captures every so often when you get an achievement or you come to a point. It does the automatic captures. I love that sort of thing, and I really wish we can get these captures out there a lot easier. And it's cloud-based, and you can just go in and fire them away, because I think that would be a lovely step up for it now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That kind of integration is something that's you need it, don't you? That there's a variety of other people that are now making it easy for you to get your game captures out there into social media, and you have to imagine it is a logical step and something that they're looking at.
Yeah, it's there's just so many possibilities, and I don't know. Everybody thought, due to the current situation, everything would just slow down, but this last year has just been bonkers. So, and everything seems to be actually, instead of slowing down, everything just seems to be speeding up. We've got all the companies buying each other. We've seen everybody pushing into cloud. It's just we need things to slow down a bit for a couple of days, just for things to settle, or days. I mean months. But I just wish we can get more. I just want more things on all the platforms, and a Steam subscription model tied into GeForce Now subscription model. There's something I should stop coming off of these sort of things. But it's just been such a great week. HellMonkey's just said that. It's been a great week for gamers all around here, no matter what platform. And this is another great day for GeForce Now as well.
Yep, absolutely. I think that you've nailed it. I think you've said everything that there really is there to be said. Everybody's making waves right now, and the only people that, apart from obviously the fact that money will change hands and it will benefit those that are making those waves, the main benefactors of that are going to be the people that are sat in front of the computer screens, sat in front of the TVs, holding the controllers, their mobiles in their hands, and kind of actually accessing the content. Because at the end of the day, as much as we sit here and we enjoy bringing people these shows and kind of bringing people the news, the thing that sits at the core of it all is that love and that passion for games and gaming, and that's what brings everybody together, and that we are the people that win.
Yep, it's just. I will say it once, so we'll say it again. It is just a great time to be a gamer. You've just got all your different options out there. GeForce Now is a viable option for people to game on. Personally speaking, I think it's more a complementary service for PC users, but I do know there's a lot of people out there who use it primarily for gaming, and I think you can use it as that. And believe it or not, my opinion has changed somewhat because of this blog post today, where I was 100% GeForce Now is just going after the PC market. PC gamers as a supplement. I think these moves they're making is trying to bring them slightly more across to we're going to be more open for everybody to come in and join on this. It's really, really great to see.
Yeah, and I think as well it's in aside of the fact it's obviously a way the market is moving. If you think it kind of the times that we've gone through in the last 12 months and people are kind of continuing to go through, sadly, people are kind of being impacted, financially by kind of furlough schemes here in the UK, by not being able to work. People in the US are kind of obviously getting, stimulus checks, etc. So maybe people don't have, or it's clear not everybody has, the same access to that kind of resource of funds. And kind of, I think HellMonkey brought a great point up in the chat earlier, when he said, 89 quid a year, to be able to play that, that and have access to that content on an old machine that you don't necessarily have to upgrade. I mean, to put that into perspective, you could probably, about 90 quid would be close to getting you, if you needed more RAM in your machine, for example, you could probably just about buy maybe a medium range 16 gig kit for around about that price to upgrade your PC. And that for me kind of puts it into perspective when you kind of talk about just upgrading one component. For the entire year, you can subscribe to GeForce Now and still have access to that content.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's great being a gamer at this moment in time. Yeah, I just wish we could get more time in the day so you can get more time to play games, because you're the same. I'm going to speak for you here. There you go. I'm going to speak for you. How about that? You're worried now, aren't you?
No.
You're worried. You're worried.
I might regret saying this, but work away.
Since getting the Kishi, that has absolutely changed the way I have started playing games. For people who don't know, Razer Kishi is an add-on to your phone, where it basically makes it into a controller. It's like making your phone into a Switch, basically, because that's how it feels to me. Because I keep on, I've got a Switch as well. I keep on hitting the wrong button because I think I'm on playing on the Switch. Oh, I'm not the only one. So, and I'm able to jump into these games all the time. I'm an iPhone user, so I'm a bit behind in all this because, as you know, iPhones and Apple don't really play nice. So all this is just garbage, and I couldn't justify the cost of getting one. But since I've got one, it is absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to play more because I'm bombing through my games at this moment in time, and it's just a real great experience on the Kishi, and you can use that with GeForce Now as well. So it's just great to see, and I just like playing all these different types of games.
Yeah, and that's the thing that it's opened up for me as well. It's kind of made it easier for me to. There's maybe games that I want to play that I maybe don't need that big screen TV experience, or I might just think, you know what, I just want to lie and chill in bed. You can just pop your phone into the Kishi and off you go, and it gives you that access, especially when you've got multiple platforms at your disposal. You've still got that choice, and it's all in the power of your hand, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thanks, Charles, for that. We did notice that we actually had a wee laugh about that behind the scenes here. It always happens, so it does. But we're trying to keep this more just a GeForce Now sort of show. But again, what a time to be a gamer. I am going to try and make a commitment here. Oh, I shouldn't be saying this. I want to... There's so much I want to do and so little time. I want to get a lot more GeForce Now footage up on Cloudy. I want to get more Xbox stuff up. I want to get more every PlayStation Now plug Saturday. Also want to get more Stadia stuff up, but it's just getting the time to do all this. So I am going to make a commitment. If I have not got any GeForce Now footage up by next week, I want people in chat to call me an absolute moonbeam and wingding or anything under the sun, because I really need to get some more GeForce Now footage up here. What do you think that's fair?
That's fair. Hashtag Duncan's a moonbeam.
Exactly. So again, I really want to get that going, especially with this update going as well. But there's so many games I want to play, and I haven't really got stuck into Valheim.
No, I haven't, and I've just seen Sammy's comment in the chat. Thanks for that, Sammy.
Yes. Yes, it's that there.
He's going to make me explain this, isn't he?
Okay, I will. Do you want me to explain it, or do you want to explain it?
No, I can explain it.
I'm actually going to say this. What Sammy has said here is, so Barry, how is that Outriders demo playthrough going along?
I know we've got the likes of Andy, Rock, and HellMonkey, obviously Sammy, because he's brought it up. So there's kind of a few people that are accustomed to creating content, who no doubt I'm hoping are going to kind of jump to my aid in the comments and go, yeah, don't worry, mate, we've all done that. I went to start recording the Outriders demo and do a playthrough so that we could have a kind of first look on Cloudy's YouTube channel. Playing my way through the demo, talking away, and in OBS I've got key combinations set up to start recording and stop recording, and clearly I hadn't hit the key combination that I thought I had. So I came to a close of my first look of the Outriders demo, went to hit my key combination to stop the recording, and realized that I hadn't actually hit record. So I just wasted a whole load of time, other than the fact that I enjoyed playing through the Outriders demo. Duncan's lost his microphone. His Mac's having a flip out. So thank you, HellMonkey, for your encouragement and laughter there. And I'm desperately looking at the content, the comments now, thinking, please, somebody else tell me they've done this. Yes, Andy, thank you. You've saved me. I feel vindicated now.
Yes, I found it. I actually lost something there, so I was actually doing something. Multitasking, which I shouldn't really be doing because I can't even do that at the best of times. I can't be single task, never mind multitask. Yeah, this is what I'm really, really passionate about, is cloud gaming for me is... opens this up, and I know Rock said this as well earlier in the chat. It just opens up the way you can play games, because you can just jump between the stuff. I know he said it's between Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, but this is what's going to happen, and is the barriers are just going to come down even further, because there is no physical hardware, or the physical hardware is the same across them all. So it's a lot of fun. What a week! What a week! So, just before we end this here, what would be your number one thing to take away from this week?
It would have to be my number one takeaway from this is that there is growth in cloud gaming.
You went deep. I was just going to say... they're expanding out, but yes, the growth is definitely there, and it is going to be absolutely great to see what all comes of this. And I want to see what countries are going to be next, and the expansion of the data centers that they've got already tells us that they know that the growth is there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see even bigger pushes towards that going forward. So I think we could maybe end that there, but I will just do, not plugging our other shows, I'm just going to keep this as this and say we will be back next week at the same time, isn't it? The 6 o'clock UK at this moment in time, which at this moment in time is 2 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, 3 o'clock
Yes, it
Eastern.
is. Yeah, yeah.
We'll love to have you here and want interaction in the chat because it's good crack. So thank you all for coming to watch, and we will see you next time. Hopefully, if I hit the right button here.